Okay, sweet, we are live. Hello YouTube, hello anybody watching this down the road. So Manil's gonna be a little bit late to this meeting. He'll call in a couple of seconds, but we got Oscar here to walk through what he's been working on the design side of the website redesign. Yeah, so Oscar, you wanna take it away and show it off?
Awesome. Hey guys. Okay, so what I have done is pretty much taking what we have, or what the work that has been done in the past, and also what Adam had done for the Envision, with the Envision prototype, and I kind of organized it a little bit better so that anyone, especially people that are not really familiar with Node, could come in and learn. That's one of the things that we talked about that was really, really important. So I kind of created, I'm going to walk you through everything. I created different buckets or hubs that hopefully make sense, but I want to get some feedback and see if this would first be useful, and then second, it's intuitive and it makes sense, right? So this is the first page that you would see. This is in dark mode. I just wanted to show a brief snapshot of how dark mode would look like. This is just the home page. However, if you click on this one, on the prototype, I shared the link as well. If you click on the logo, it would just toggle back and forth between the two. This is pretty much the light mode, and this is kind of what what you would see as soon as you come in. I added this banner to put like any marketing stuff in here, like maybe events and all stuff will be in here. I need kind of some help with content because I'm not a content writer, so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's been more than a few issues floating around in the GitHub, the sort of GitHub repos about rewriting the homepage copy.
Yes,
I'm sure those conversations will be ongoing for a while still. So
okay, cool.
You know, placeholder content is fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So for now, I just put some stuff in there. Now, what we have on our side on the actual page today is just a quick thing to download Node, right? So I kept it the same. However, I kept it. I predominantly put the LTS one, and then the get current, or because my understanding is that the LTS is the one that people should download the most, right? But people are more well versed in Node. They could just go to here, and then in this page you would have I still need to redesign it, but it will have all the like the options for downloads and all that stuff.
Awesome.
So yeah, but you would click on this one and you would just download the package that it's for your platform, right? So you should just recognize what platform you're in and then download that installer. And then another big link to learn Node. So this is just pretty much the same thing that I showed you. But if you go here, then it takes you to this hub, which is called Learn, and it's kind of like just Node tutorials. I wanted to get some feedback on these, like what kind of tutorials we would want. I pretty much took this from these, right? And then you do have like the first, which is Node fundamentals, and then intermediate. They should say tutorials, and then this one should say advanced tutorials. So, so yeah, maybe like we can talk about like what type of like content we would want here, and if we just put like maybe videos or posts in here, that will be fine as well. But yeah, this is just like a quick thing to anybody that doesn't know what Node is, could just come in and learn the basics, and then go to intermediate tutorials and then advanced tutorials as well. And I kept it pretty much the same as some of the posts that I saw on here. So
and also the structure on .dev over there as well? It looks like you pulled some.
Yes. So yes, I did do. Let me hide this. How do I hide this thing? It's just the Zoom thing is like not letting me see the tabs, but hold on. There you go. Yeah. So this. I kept it very, very similar. However, I did notice that some of these things are posts that people had done in the past. And they don't really have like, I'm not sure if this is like in chronological order or it makes sense to go one by one like this. So what I did was I do have a hub for this called resources. And then this, instead of this nav, it would have all of these posts in here. However, we can take some of these posts and then put them in the Learn hub, like right here, along with these, if we want. So I'm just trying to like keep it simple and keep the tutorials very, very simple, and then have like also have if people wanted to learn more, they could just go and come here and then have all access to all of these things, which I think they're really, really good. It's just that they don't have like a specific, like path, right? So I wanted to get some feedback. What do you think about that, though?
Yeah, it's a very large. I think what you tried to separate out here is part of the problem with trying to teach somebody Node. It's a huge problem space. And there's really, like, unless you're coming with prior knowledge, it's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
So the content in the getting started section came from a online resource called the Node handbook. And so it's kind of tailored for, hey, you're coming with zero knowledge. Read this thing start to finish, like address all these points, and you'll know enough to be competent but dangerous with Node.
Got it.
So the order it's in there is kind of in the order you should tackle it if you're coming with JavaScript, but you've never dabbled in server-side JS. Like, so to me at least, like it's not like the more detailed tutorials that you pulled from the Node.js.org site.
Right.
It really is it's not quick start. It's not like follow these steps, you'll have it installed and you'll be able to play with it. It's follow these steps and you'll know how to use the tool, rather than read these advanced tutorials to learn something nifty about the platform that you didn't know before.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is there any way that we could maybe condense these things, or I'm just trying to picture like someone going through all of these. I mean, this is great for like a class, like an actual, like if I take the time to spend a weekend and then just do it. But I was imagining this the Learn thing being more of like just give me like the stuff, but we could potentially just put like on advanced or immediate. We can just break them down. It's just I don't have a strong like thing. It's just that this would be pretty lengthy, and they would. What I'm afraid of is that people are gonna be like, oh shit, this is too much. I'm not gonna do it.
There might be other ways to break up this bulk of content. Like to be quite honest, you probably don't need to know about buffers and streams if you're just getting started with Node. So some of this content can probably be pulled out to the more intermediate tutorial section.
Got it. Okay.
And also we might want to explore not having. Hey, there's Manil. How's it going, Manil?
Hey, folks.
Hey, Manil.
We're walking through more mock-ups right now, which is awesome. Yeah. And Oscar, the Figma link you dropped in the issue doesn't seem to resolve anywhere for me.
It doesn't work?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Check out and
I'll
make sure
fix
we
that
got
one.
the right link. It might be like a private Figma board or something.
Yeah, maybe I gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look into that. I'll make a note.
Cool.
But Manil, we're just talking about the learn section or learn hub or learn stuff.
Yeah, and content structure. TLDR, Oscar has a concern that, and we already have this on the .dev site, that there is a lot of content here, and so how do we present it in a way that it doesn't appear to be overwhelming to somebody coming to the page fresh? Yeah, I was saying that some of the stuff in the getting started content that we have already can probably be pulled out to like that intermediate section you have there, Oscar. Like,
Right.
like I was saying, you don't need to know about Node buffers or streams if it's your first time playing with Node. Like, learn about FS, learn about package JSON, learn about how to make network requests and spin up a server. But that's you should be good after that.
Got it.
Okay. Enough to be dangerous. So we can work on splitting out this content. I think also the interaction model for that sidebar is going to be important in this. If everything is expanded from the get-go, it's going to look pretty intense.
Yes. That's why. Yes. So
Yeah.
you're correct. These things are not expanded on load. It's just hard to mimic that in Figma. But yeah, they would expand as you click them. Yeah.
And are you imagining that, like, when you click them and it expands, will you be brought to like you have a page right here, Node.js tutorials, which seems to be, or when we play with copy, obviously, but this seems to be like an overview of the fundamentals section. When you click on one of those sidebar headers for Node fundamentals, intermediate fundamentals, yada yada, would each one have its own landing page, kind of explaining what the section is?
That's a good question.
Or is this?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting. Well, that's a really good question. But the way I designed this was like, this is the introduction page, and it just walks you through kind of like what you're going to learn, and just a brief description of each page or each like little section. So like as soon as you click on Node fundamentals, it opens the dropdown. These are closed, right? And then you choose the one that you want. So the first one is what's Node and a little bit of history. And then as soon as you finish this section, then you open this one, and then you go to blocking versus non-blocking.
Awesome. Okay, so we were just looking at the introduction page at the top. I see.
Correct. Yes, this is just the introduction page of pretty much anything or everything that you will learn if you go through everything, right? Yeah. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's solid too. What we might want to, especially if the content starts getting really long on the introduction page, we might want to, instead of listing out all those subsections, like under Node fundamentals 1, 2, 3, 4, here's the articles, just write an overview for each section of if you go through all the content here, you should be able to blank. What is the goal of each section, rather than listing out all the different individual pieces of it.
That's actually a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the end of this, to surface the separate initiative that's happening around Node.js certification, at the end of this, past the intermediate section, it can be offered to folks that, hey, there's a certification that the Linux Foundation is offering. Here, go take it.
Nice.
Because it's a useful incentive for people to continue reading, maybe. Or
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is it? Do we want to put it towards the end, or do you want to like do maybe like a little marketing section?
So
later.
I'll need to look deeper into exactly what it's testing, but my initial feeling is that you won't have to like complete everything, and it's probably not the best motivation for folks to be like, it's at the very end. You can't do this at the very end. Plus, they let you take it one more time for free if you don't get past it the first time. So I'd say at the very least, it'll be somewhere in the middle, like after intermediate, but then we also like maybe seed the idea somewhere around here.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, if we do a write-up of what each section is and what you should be able to accomplish by the end of it, we can mention at the end, like in the intermediate tutorials description, be like, by the end of this section, you should be able to, think about taking the certification program through the Linux Foundation. Provide a link to it for more info and all that. Yeah, that's a good call out, Manuel.
I love those kind of like summaries when it comes to learning stuff. It's like, hey, by the end of this, you should be able to do X, because then it sets up an expectation. It's like, okay, this is what I should be able to do, and I know what to learn, as opposed to, I guess I'm just watching this now or reading this now.
Yeah, I had done that for each page, but I like the description of each section best, so that people don't skip, pages and they just go through the whole entire thing, which is good. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it gives them a goal.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
And Oscar, you and I can work on splitting up the long list of the current getting started section into more granular pieces.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Okay,
Yeah.
let me show you. So these are not designed yet, but and this is the wrong sidebar, but there's a community page that talks about like maybe all the events. I wanted to talk to you about maybe, can people submit their like global events? Like if I have an event in, I don't know, South America, Argentina or whatever, can people do that or?
So this is something that we've been talking about over in the a different meeting for Node in the outreach working group, which will be meeting next Tuesday. We had been exploring using Meetup.com used to have a nonprofit model where nonprofits or groups like Node would be able to use it for free, but
yeah,
it's no longer the case, sadly. So we're exploring other options. What we're thinking is probably MVPing it. So like you'd be able to submit your event to the repo manually. We just maintain a list of it that way. So potentially, yes. The group is more imminently though pivoting to generating the actual content that will go on the community page beyond just events. So we'll. I wish Ahmed was here. He's visiting family right now, but he's normally in these meetings and is helping drive outreach. So.
Okay. Yeah, maybe on the next meeting we can talk about this page and what can it have.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just picturing.
Oscar, I know you need more meetings, but how would you feel about showing up on Tuesday and chatting with the three of us that are normally in there, just chatting about the outreach initiative?
Yeah, man. Yeah. What time is the meeting?
I think it's 9 a.m. Same time as.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I can do that.
I'll shoot you an invite to that too.
Cool. Yeah, that will be important for this page specifically. Cool. And then let me show you just this one.
Before you move on from community, I'm dropping a link that might give you an idea of the kind of content that might live in there. Like Adam said, that outreach group is working on what could live in here. But right now in Node.js.org, we do have a page with some meetups that people have, like community submitted meetups. They have to adhere to the code of conduct, but so far it's like you get to submit it. And a lot of the people who have submitted it have been somehow involved with the Node project, which is how they found out that they could submit these meetups anyway. But if there's any violation, then the idea is that so far I think it's kind of patchwork, because if the meetup doesn't adhere to our code of conduct, I don't think we have a requirement yet that the meetup have to say that like you can report that meetup to the foundation. Otherwise, we won't know how to take it off, right? Like the only way we know is somehow if it reaches us through Twitter. So this isn't exactly the best sort of list, but it could look like this. The information might be somewhere.
Got it.
That list is not particularly well maintained, to my knowledge, either. And I think in part that's because it's hidden pretty deep on the website and not discoverable. So I think going hand in hand with this is the fact that the redesign surfaces it so much better. It'll actually be seen as a resource that people can actively maintain.
Got it.
So, but yes, we'd presumably be able to do something like that for the community page. Something that we get to talk about on Tuesday too is in that ancient Medium post that kicked all of this work off. There's a whole section on community as well. So I go into like the taxonomy of what could be put on a community page like that. Meetups are just one part of it. It's also like linking out to news about nodes. So like we were toying with the idea of pulling in. So we have a Medium page for Node that the foundation helps maintain, called the Node.js collection. So pulling in like 3 of the latest posts from that with links off to that as a resource for you to go read, or for the latest on conferences that you could attend if you're interested in the topic, or let's see what else is in here. Collaboration instructions, so like how do I get involved, and pointing out the getting started guides for Node proper, and calling out other ComCom initiatives like the mentorship program and stuff like that, for if you want to get involved. So there's a whole bunch that can go in here. Oh yeah, I couldn't like hot link to the community anchor tag. They apparently Medium doesn't turn headers into anchor tags or anchor tags, which is kind of silly. But yeah, it's down there somewhere. So yeah, we can talk about this in detail on Tuesday, kind of the potential taxonomy for V1 of community here.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, on Tuesday, right?
Tuesday, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Right here. Okay. Yeah, I'll read. I think I read this a long time ago.
It's been a while.
Yeah, let me read it again, because this is pretty much what I was looking for. Right here.
Yeah, totally. Some of it's not applicable. Like having a job board would be one hell of a lot for this website to do so early. So we're probably not going to do that. Third-party libraries and tools, like hard to maintain. It technically, like we're linking off to a bunch in the getting started guide, so that should suffice. So that list, not everything on that list is mandatory or will be included, but it's
cool.
Yeah, cool. It's a superset.
Awesome. And then the last hub, I know we're past like my time, but just
that's okay. It's just the 3 of us right now, so you got the whole meeting. Also, This is kind of at the utmost importance. So.
All right, cool. So yeah, this is the documentation hub or bucket, and in here I wanted to put a little section just to get started really fast, like installing Node and maybe like your first, like how to set up a server really fast, and then I took these from what we already had in the previous page, and then go into the actual API documentation. So all of these things be in there. I kept it pretty much the same as you had it, Adam, and I actually really like this idea of like for each module you would have like a list of all the methods and classes and all that stuff, and then you could easily scan them. I thought that was really good, and you could just click and then go to the specific documentation for that method or class. Or so awesome. This I'm picturing this being pretty much the same thing as you had it, but I wanted to know like if there's anything that has changed or anything like that when it comes to the
no. So I'm just popping over to the API docs, both old and new here, so take a look. I don't think so. I like that envisions. Okay. Cool. We'll have to talk about iconography for a lot of the API docs. Because like come on, there we go. I just have a bunch of really placeholder, like you'll want to be able to scan and dropping a link to the vision board in there, so you can pop over there as well. You want to be able to scan that summary at the top of all the methods and properties, and like understand what each one is pretty quickly. So we'll have to pull iconography for this from somewhere, so you can easily parse it.
I mean, if it's just like
yeah,
little things like this, I can make them. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. I can make.
yeah, that would be awesome. And I think just like starting out with the 4 or 5 of them there. Classes is the C, events is E, properties is P, methods is M.
Yep.
That should suffice to get us at least up and out the door. I think we're going to have to couple this with a documentation change in a change in how we parse documentation.
Okay.
To make it work, but that's on us to make happen. It's on me to make happen. I think I'm probably going to be picking up the API docs ticket in the repo soon. Yeah, so if we can, I like the look and feel of the sidebar, much nicer than my blue monstrosity in the yeah, and good use of right rail there as well. The content's going to be all pretty much marked down right now, so it's going to, we'll steal the styles for the documentation content from the learn pages, the layout that we have there. That's a restriction in how we currently write API docs in Node Core. So
right.
So we can infer those styles from there. So
cool.
So, hey folks, this Figma doc, is this public? I'm not able to access it through the link.
Yeah,
I called that out.
Yeah, it just told me. I think let me see actually. Let me because you should be able to. You don't even need to create. I think you actually. I think you do have to create an account. But
yeah.
Let me see.
Oh, yep.
It's only people invited to this file there. So you want to swap that? Yeah.
There we go. Can you swap that to can comment on the side too? With,
oh yeah, true.
Oh, just can comment. It's all good.
It's loading.
You should be able to. But you see it now?
Well, it's loading. It's a big file.
Yeah, it's very big. Well, it's also a design system too. So like anyone that would want to pick this up, it's pretty much open source. So anybody that could want to do like a Node website in the future, you could just take all the styles and colors and all that stuff. Like, everything is ready for them from a design perspective. So
yeah, that's
super
awesome.
Especially if we can have it export tokens.
Yes.
Awesome. You want to show off what you've been working on there?
Yeah, I'll show you guys. It's not ready, but I'll show you guys something. Pretty cool.
Works in progress. Some are favorites. So.
Yeah. Let me. Can you guys access it? Manuel, are you seeing it?
Yeah,
now?
we got it. We got it up and running.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so but hold on. Let me go back here just to make sure. So I do wanted to ask you. I don't think I can go on each page and then design each page because
don't you dare do that.
Good.
That's such a waste of time.
Good. Just making sure because it's a lot of content, but it's pretty much gonna be like if I design one, I think we can just keep the same structure, right? I do have a page for. Let me show you. I do have a page for. It's kind of like a template. With all the styles and what's the H1s and what's the H2s and all that stuff. So we should use that as like a layout template for everything, for code, for images, like how many columns I should have, like all that stuff. It's gonna be in this thing.
Sweet.
And then if we wanted to do, I think the dark mode stuff do you still want to do it, or? Yeah,
I'm down with dark mode.
Yeah, it's very helpful for people.
Yes, it is.
Like, yeah, I mean, I'm not like, I've actually asked people about this for a separate site or a separate page that I've been trying to work on. Oh, seaplane. Anyway, Um,
So one thing I know we're going to get people calling out is why pink? Our color's green, which we either need to have a response for that, or
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think about that? Because I honestly, the only answer to that I would have to that is like the dark mode is I wanted to make it fun. And we do have some styles for accents colors. The green's still there, but it's not the predominant color would be the pink one. But we can. I mean, I can change it to the green, more saturated green, if you guys.
yeah. I'd say let's wait until we get it in code to do that, because it'll be a lot easier to play with the dark mode
Yeah, let's do that.
primary color once it's a single variable.
As a perspective around colors and the ability to change them while not like still being true to our themes, I think the fact that we have a dark mode, people will understand that as that's a good reason to pick a different color, because you're changing a lot about the page.
Mm-hmm.
So let's pick a color that works with the page. They're not going to be like, oh, this should also be green, because we have the light mode that has green in there. If dark mode is pink, that's fine. Like maybe even the Node logo can turn pink. Who knows?
I think that's against brand guidelines. We'll get in trouble with the foundation. But
well,
yeah,
really,
I think
extension, people can install it themselves.
Yeah, exactly. We don't explicitly endorse it, but yeah, no, I think that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll play with the color once we get it in code. I was just wondering if there was like a specific contrast.
Oh no, there's no. I mean, I just wanted to get playful, but yeah, we can totally change that. And
let's make it like Twitter, and you can pick your own damn color.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that's something that I'm seeing more and more. Like people can just do whatever they want, but it starts to dilute the brand, right? At some point, so we don't want that.
Yeah, I like that the nav stays green, but the rest will.
Oh yes, correct. Yeah. Also, like I put the download button for all the download page, which I haven't redesigned, but it's there. And then the version, is this possible, guys? Like if you change the version, like it would change. I'm imagining this would be more appropriate in this context, right? In the context of docs.
So we have a larger conversation to have around version switching.
Okay.
So the API docs will definitely have the version switcher. Like we already have that capability today. We have a broader question around the getting started guide. Like for the more detailed, like those learn resources, we could version them. We could say like, hey, we support current and LTS for those, and just maintain those two versions. We could say, yeah, I don't know exactly what we're going to be doing with that yet. To me, at least, I don't think it makes sense to like version it based on the minor, like we would with the API docs.
Okay.
But actually, current documentation, you can only see it for major versions, it looks like.
Okay.
Which is fine. It gets intense if we start doing it for every minor version.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that will have to go somewhere on the site.
I think there's something to be said about making sure that, I think instead of creating extra work, one way to reduce the amount of maintainer burden we'd have is just be like the getting started guide is always meant to target like the latest LTS. For example, that's probably because like support wise, it's a good one to do. And if a page has not been updated, if it hasn't been updated after an LTS has been released, or we figure out a way to somehow indicate that something is behind, but it's always supposed to be alongside the latest LTS, then it becomes kind of binary, because then it's like it's updated or it's not.
Yeah.
And that's all we support.
Yeah, I'd be happy putting that rule in place that like learn page is always LTS. If you're on current, God help you. So fun fact for the API docs, I just dropped a link in there. Here's where we store all the versions. Folks on the stream, this is nodejs.org/docs. We just have static files stored for all the different API documentation versions. And these exist as both rendered HTML pages and JSON. So we're going to be hitting this up as if it's an API to render the API page or render the API docs on the. Oh man, that's an ancient version. That's really cool. To render the API docs on the Gatsby site. So we could potentially list out every single patch version that's been released as a way to view docs. We could also make the choice to show minor versions or just the latest major documentation, or just documentation for the last release on that major release line. So.
Got it.
Yeah, but I think moving that version switcher down out of the main nav would probably be a good call, because it's not versioning for the whole documentation site. It's just for docs.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So I'll shift it to here, and then also I put a date there for the latest, like the latest update would just show there. We can do this, right?
Yes. I think.
Okay.
I'll get back to you on that. Especially with versioning, it gets kind of weird.
Right. Yeah.
When if you go back and look at 0.8, like
True.
Last update of that was actually, you can see right in the file explorer right there.
I mean, I don't know
May
if
2013.
I don't know if it's even like useful. I mean, I just put it there, but I don't think.
You know what would be more useful there? A nicely styled edit this page on GitHub link.
Oh yeah, so I actually put it down here with the contributors, but do you mean like putting the link on top?
Yeah, can we do it in both places? Like, we really want to pound home this is a live document and collaboratively edited. Pulling the last edited date would be a little tricky.
Okay, cool. And then
it would involve changes to how we generate those JSON files, which we could change that infrastructure, but I don't know if we want to. It's been in place for a very long time. So.
And then I put breadcrumbs in there. Do you guys see value on that?
Yeah, I have a weird opinion with breadcrumbs. I always think like breadcrumbs are a crutch for a larger like site IA confusion problem.
Yeah,
is my unpopular opinion on them. At the same time, I know they're valuable for a lot of folks, and especially with a deeply nested site like this, it might be helpful to just remind you where you are.
Right.
But yeah, I won't block on those if most of the people have strong opinions. So.
Sounds good. Okay, so I'll make the edits that we talked about, and I need to. One thing that I just realized, I need to design also a search state, and what type of search we can.
Yeah, an open state for that. We won't have control over the search dropdown, so don't bother designing that. I believe we'll have control over the open state for the search box. We're going to use a third-party service for documentation search. So
perfect.
Yeah, they basically just hook into an input and render the dropdown on the page. So I believe I'll let you know if that's not true. But
but so that means that when you're starting to search something, like it would just appear something like a little window right here, and then you click on that. I don't need to really like if you search and then you hit return. I'm imagining I don't need to do like the search results in the page, or what do you think?
Just the active state for the search box.
Got it.
Yeah, the actual search results dropdown, I believe, is provided for us from this third-party service. I could be very wrong about that, but we'll jump that hurdle if I'm proven wrong.
Cool.
Later. Yeah, and then the one other like ask here, since we have folks hacking away on this right now, the downloads page.
Yep.
With like the full list of download resources and the grid. If we could tackle that sometime in the next week or so, because I think we'll have data integrations working for that.
Okay, cool. I'll do that. Yeah. I'll do that next then.
Awesome.
For our next meeting. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else?
It's a good question. Other than so do you we'll start hacking away on getting the designs. You say the design system, like the tokens themselves are stable by this point? Colors, drop shadows, yeah. Cool. So we'll start making tasks to get those codified and pulled into the repo.
Cool.
And
all of these are already done. So like all the colors, they have semantic meaning, some of them, and then elevations effects, and then grid styles. Like all of these things are already done. So we can start like with the CSS infrastructure, and then also the text styles as well, which contain font size, font weight, and line height as well.
Beautiful. We'll get that going in the repo, get it into code. And is there what else would you say is ready for dev? Like I don't want to stick people on putting stuff up before designs,
I think like, well, I mean to have this this page as a template, it's pretty much baked. I think that, I mean, hiding or showing the breadcrumbs is good. Like I'll take this out, but the page and then the spacing between the paragraphs and like margins, paddings, and all that stuff, it's kind of already figured out. So we could start with that. Also, all of these things are defined in this doc. So so it should be good. So we can start with that for next week. What I think, we could also start doing stuff like this. Like if we're gonna have an accordion, we can start looking like that. If we had avatars, badges, like we want to do, we can go really, really deep into this, but we can start coding the buttons as component. Like all of these little atoms. And then for the page itself, I think the ones that I don't have anything ready to be codified except the template page, the template documentation page. And maybe for next week, I'll have the downloads page done, so we can start with that one.
Okay, awesome. Would you say the sidebar styles are in a place where we can start switching them over?
Those as well. It should be done.
Okay, we'll start working on those.
The iconography that I'm using is Google's Google Material icons, because they have so many, and
and the icons take forever, so
I think that's okay with you guys, right? Like we talked about this, I think. Okay, cool.
Totally fine with that. Can we one last comment on the sidebar? Coming up on time here. So I was really jazzed about the like learning paths style. Each section gets filled in as you go through it. Can we still have some type of visual representation of that here?
Yeah.
I want to add as a follow-up feature, like it will remember your browser, and like if you have visited a page, it will be checked, type of thing.
Got it.
Track your progress as you go through. It would be awesome to retain some type of visual indicator for that.
Yeah, definitely. I was doing it for each section, but what you're meaning is like each page or each like individual page would have their own thing, like
of some kind. On the current site, the one that we've gotten together, it looks a little repetitive at this point since they're all the same size.
Right.
So I don't know the best way to present it.
Okay.
it would be nice to have some type of visual indicator of progress through a section itself.
Yeah. That's what is right now. Like this would change from a circle to this thing, but that's I'm keeping it, as you said, I'm keeping it like to the section, because this was looking a little. It starts to get, you start to lose the meaning of it if it's too repetitive. But I got it after, like I went here and I was like, oh, okay, now I know I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, but I can prototype it and see how it looks, and then with this style, and then we can talk about it next meeting. But the spacing and all that stuff is going to be pretty much
beautiful,
the same. Yeah.
I love it, Oscar. Cool. You're a beast. Great.
Cool. So I'll put the dark mode switch instead of putting it. I'm gonna put it right here. Okay. Is that
awesome?
All right. Cool.
I like it.
Awesome. I think that's it.
Cool. You said you'd take a half hour. You ended up taking
the whole
almost the whole hour, which I'm happy with. This is like this is going to unblock a whole lot of work for us, which I'm psyched for. So
cool. Awesome, guys. Well, yeah. Let me know if you have any comments or any suggestions or questions or whatever. Just comment them in the prototype.
Awesome. Will do. Yeah, so for everybody on the YouTube stream, this is it's linked in the meeting issue ticket, this Figma board. You can pop in, play with it yourself, and leave comments on the prototype. Cool.
Oh, and feedback too, please. Any type of feedback would be awesome.
Awesome. Cool. Thank y'all. We'll see you on the next live stream.